We are at the midday mark, and that means the bronze medal matches are about to kick off. This one in the open division, an all-German affair. Frank N taking on MUC, Frankfurt versus Munich. I am Stefan Rapazzo alongside Benji Reese, bringing you the action here from Vienna spring break. Benji, how's everything going?
Honestly, not bad. We're in a beautiful city with beautiful weather and hopefully some pretty good looking ultimate to boot as well. Not the game you necessarily ever want to be in the bronze medal. It hurts to come so close to the final and not make it, but both of these sides have got to pick themselves up from their semi-final defeats this morning. MUC went down 15-11 to catch up Graz. We streamed that semi. In the other one, Franken lost 15-12 to 3SB. So catch up 3SB, of course, next on the docket, but still a little bit of pride to play for, and of course, those bronze medal hopes as well.
Bronze medal hopes are underway here as Frank N send the opening pole. Wolber and Meyerhofer gets things going. Holzer, Munich in black, playing upwind, looking at a zone immediately employed by Frank N. And why not when forced up against this wind? It's like having an eighth defender sometimes. Holzer.
Yeah, you'd imagine these two sides be pretty familiar with each other, of course, with that sort of national rivalry.
O'Brien on the far sideline drops to one of the three brothers over there. Oh no, that was Vilmek. Meyerhofer. Vilmek. And this zone slowing things down, but the completions keep coming. Holzer. Holzer chisels forward. Meyerhofer right back to Holzer and Rose, but he read it well and went up. And another nice read. Now the shot for goal. That one counts, bench. Nice first possession for Munich. Foot goes down. Felix Dach with the goal.
Just slow playing it and slow playing it, but as soon as you're out of position, they pounce, they take advantage, and actually they were a little bit cheeky with that one because the penultimate pass here, it draws that deep defender in, but obviously you've got to play that risk reward, and so when Voliver doesn't get there, but he still makes that attempt to come up for it, well, he's out of position and there's a free pass in behind. So when you're playing, well, any position in a zone, but especially if you're the last player back, if you're coming up, you have to get something of it, because if you don't, you're out of position and the goal goes in.
As it did there, MUC will pull now with the wind at their backs. Will we expect a zone versus zone battle here? I've got some sneaking suspicion that we're going to see that to kick this game off.
Well, it's interesting because we didn't really see too much of that from MUC in their semi-final against catch-up, so I imagine it's a potential option for them, but in the meantime they might just see if they can cause pressure with the match.
Before the last game, Holzer did say that they don't run much zone, and true to what he said, they have come out playing match here as the other way goes through Gauger, and now immediately in the end zone. That was very quick, made to look easy against the match D. They found a lot of seams, a lot of openings starting from that far sideline.
I'm not sure if this was the intention, but they never had anyone on the thrower. So whether that's because, you know, we're just going to say, okay, we can let them have time with the disc, but we're just not going to give them any options downfield, although that didn't actually work, or whether there was supposed to be someone on the thrower, but they just never found the job. And as a result, they could never really generate any sustained spells of pressure. And Franken won't mind that one bit.
No, not at all. That's good form from both offensive units going upwind to start the game. MUC maybe made to work just a little bit harder against the zone than Frank N had to just there. But that doesn't count for much how hard you had to work. It's 1-1, Benji.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily count on the score sheet. Oh, that's a tricky one, but Holzer thankfully has enough time. But it kind of takes its toll throughout the course of a match. The harder you have to work, the more you kind of feel that at the end of the game. Whereas if you're getting all your points in fairly easily, you've just got more reserves in the at the end of the game, and what is actually the end of the weekend for them.
Holzer gets that up liner to Wilmek. Charging through is one of the other Meyerhofers. There's 3 of them out there, or on the team. 2 of them at least I see right now. The run through D there. A smack away by Buchner, and a good look to break. Short field downwind for Frank N. Shot right away, foot drag, not in, but inbounds.
Yeah, the important distinction there between not in and out. He's not out of the pitch, or at least we didn't think he was, but he's definitely not in the end zone at any rate.
And I think they are now discussing whether or not he was in. Is that a line goal, or are they talking about some contact in the stack? They're back in any sense. Fakes Scuber, gives Scuber, and it lands on the chest of the number 25, Frank N's Buchner, for the goal.
First blood to Frank N, getting the turnover, and the wind is not as consistent as it was yesterday. Certainly it's gustier and more blustery, and so there will be moments when it's not as strong, and you need to take advantage of the upwinders when that comes. But certainly getting the first break of the game, getting the downwind is never a bad place to be in, and I'm interested to know who won the toss and what they picked, because it wouldn't surprise me if Frank N, having won the toss, said, MUC, you can start down there, because we back ourselves to get an early break.
Yeah. Well, we can get to the bottom of that. We'll see if we will at the first break in the game. But in any sense, that's the way it's shaken out, Benji. They have played the 2 up wins and taken advantage of the very first opportunity they could get, thanks to that run through D. So Frank N have switched the fields now. Offense will play downwind following this pull.
By the way, on the pitch just beyond this one, the second women's semi-final has still not come to a conclusion. 3SB struggling a little bit to close that one out.
Yeah, 13-8. It's been 13 for a very long time. It is, how long? We're 10 minutes into this game already. So that game is really extended. Holzer. Low, and hits the 3SB player on the sideline. That is out of bounds. I don't think that was ever gonna make it anyways. The throw ill-advised. Frank N will take it as an extra defender, the obstacle on the sideline. But yeah, I think it would have been a turnover any which way you sliced that.
Yeah, technically a violation having a player that close, but there isn't a huge amount of clearance between the 2 pitches, so wasn't a huge amount of space for her to go. That one jacked against the wind and probably should have been caught.
Oh, not probably. That one should have been caught, but it did go over the head of the defender. He was blinded for a moment, was Buchner, but hit him right in the chin there and bounced to ground. Holzer gets to pick up and have a second try. Meyerhofer moves far side. He's got Wilmek. Another gainer there to Schutz. Under. Leading throw goes Wilmek. And Holzer far sideline. High stall count, but he does get it away. Vilmek winds up, puts it away. Now goes the inside, Meyerhofer there. Leads to the corner, nice looking throw to get the around toe tapped right inside that end zone corner.
There was a definite sense of serenity, I think, about that possession from MUC. It just felt very calm, like they were never flustered. You know, had a clear plan, knew what they were doing, and executed it. That's, from their perspective, the way things should look. Just getting a little look at that toe tap there, very clearly in that front corner of the end zone for the score.
So 2 apiece. Break still in favor for Franken, as they will get their turn to play downwind offense now. Stops with the pull. Hope to get a roll on that one, but it might turn around. It will. And Remy sees it out of bounds.
Didn't think that stopping the roll was worthwhile. Just gonna say no. We're just gonna watch it all the way.
Rinke. Gets to Hamann. Hamann gets the forward movement. Ooh, and then the deep backwards, great grab by Sheck. Hamann goes backwards to Sheck. He has all sorts of space, throws low and bounces off the knee of Gauga.
Yeah, was sliding through to come and see if he could get a hand on the underneath option, but low to the ground, even though he had kind of a solid, consistent body line behind it, when you're low to the ground like that, it is really tricky.
Wallace with the spin around to Remy. Wallace again. Shoots Brook. The man known as Boog gets a nice throw through to Remy. Wallace. Big gainer potential, but can't be handled. Shoots Brock, sees it to ground.
I think you're just seeing the precision that's required, because in this wind, if you get it to the wrong shoulder, it's just not going to work. You have to be so accurate out there.
Sheck to Rinke. Wind up. Delivery. That one is hanging. Gauga and Wallace have a great contest, and Wallace wins in the fact that it wasn't caught, but they both jostled each other well to get any sort of position there.
From an MUC perspective, they won't mind that, because if they want any player back defending those deep balls, it's probably Wallace.
We heard Torben Hornschmeyer earlier, don't test Jay Wall deep in the last game, and they did just test him there again, and, well, maybe similar result.
I thought surely he'd want people to test Jay Wall deep because he backs it. But yes, just advice maybe for his opposition.
Shoots Brock, goes to Wallace. Good defense right now, not many options, and then the super low throw gives another chance. That one.
Philip never gave him a shot at that, let's be honest.
Yeah, now Frank. Frank N, not just Frank. Rinke, ooh, dangerously waits that one over his head, but does catch it on the other side of the body. Now the under. Richter goes to the sideline, throw for goal is good. Nice throw by Gauga to get it into the corner.
Yeah, just utilizing a little bit of that inside-out shape, cutting it across the body to kind of hide it away from the defender somewhat, and although the bid came in and actually caused a little bit of contact on the ankles as it did so, wasn't able to get there. Franken maintaining their advantage. Better point though from MUC perspective defensively because they were generating turnovers. Not only that, they were getting a bit more success with the D-line offense, although something that I think if they look back on their semi-final, they'll think is we generated more than enough chances, but not only did we not actually manage to get a break, but there were too many possessions where we didn't even get close to it, and we need to be moving the discs after the turn on a much more consistent and reliable basis.
Indeed, Benj. We're getting some corrections. I certainly am from my opening game, but Frank, and not from Frankfurt, but from a Bavarian region, Franconia, in Germany. So thank you for your help in the chats. Love your input and your engagement in these games. Love having you. Keep it coming. We love to hear what you know. Help us deliver more to the good people watching like you. And go on, like and subscribe while we're giving you instructions. The pickup by Holzer. Chisel. Meyerhofer. Looking at a zone once again. 2-3-2 is the shape. Meyerhofer misses the Vilmec chisel and goes to Holzer, and now Meyerhofer again stepping in and stepping forward with every throw. Meyerhofer, not a small man.
No.
Ooh, that wind gusted as Vilmec put a bit of touch on that. It almost got away. Holzer to Meyerhofer. Back to Holzer. Ooh, readjust and gets there, does Vilmec. Then Fabian Meyerhofer, and now all the way across to Tobias. Shot just in front and chips one right in to Tobias Bock in the front of the end zone.
I think what you're illustrating there with just those last two passes is a good illustration of a mindset you need to have when you're maybe playing away from the disc as an offensive player in the zone, because you have to accept that there's going to be the same 3, 4, 5 players getting the overwhelming majority of touches, and it's still about picking your head up, making sure that when they do move the disc quickly, when those spaces do open, that you're in space to attack it and get the disc and move it on quickly, because the only two times there that Schutz and Borg touched the disc were on the last two passes, and of course they combined for the score. But if you're not paying attention, if you just say, well, we'll let the handlers go to work, then A, well, you're not really doing anything, and B, what that allows the other defenders who are kind of guarding those zones to be able to do is say, well, he's not interested, so I don't have to bother with him, and they can cause more pressure and overloads elsewhere.
Right as usual, Benji. Frank N push the offense with the wind at their backs now. Gauga. Villenborg. And low throw gets away. Break chance upwind availed. What will they do with it? Meyer. Backhand around. Wallace. Goes back to Meyer. Wallace gives the cut, gets it back right away. Stops. Meyer. Great movement by MUC, and then the last throw goes over top.
We saw that a couple of times in their semi-final as well. When their D-line offense finally did get rocking and rolling, they just couldn't quite finish it off.
Rinka. Goes central to Sheck. Now boost to the far sideline and sends it. Gauga goes up and takes it. Waiting for the troops. He does get rid of it early, very wisely. Richter, and gets it back. Gauga, the finishing touches put on. Villenborg is there, and after giving up a glorious break chance, Frank N march it all the way back down to score.
A gut punch there for MUC, because You worked it so well. You had the shot to the end zone. You threw it, and it started like, you know what? This is it. We're finally going to break that streak of not getting the break, but it kept rising and then going down the other end. Franken certainly made the most of their second opportunity. None of those places really too dicey, and in the end, Willenborg more than happy to catch for the score and just establish their advantage again. Very tight this game though, still plenty of time for it to swing either way.
The chat, I'll stay engaged with you for the time being. How many Wollebers are there? 3 on the field and 1 in the chat. I think there's 2 on the field. I think there's actually only 1, but there are 2 people with number 44 playing for Franken. And indeed, there is 1 in the chat, Martin Wolleber, who helped us out with Franken. Thanks, guys.
By the way, Franconia sounds like somewhere where you'd find a German outcast tribute act. No, not picking that one up?
Sorry, you gotta say it again there, Benj, but...
Don't worry, I'll tell you later.
I was reading the chat again. Holzer goes low to pick that one up.
It's because it rhymes with Stankonia.
Ah, Stankonia. I love Stankonia. Franconia, Stankonia. I'm with you now. Great song, great album. Andre 3000 and Big Boy. So the chat upfield between a could-be Wolleber and Willemec. Gone back to Holzer. Meyerhofer gets it thrown to him. He gets very big. I would suggest getting out of that man's way when he's going up with that kind of speed, as everyone around did. Now Meyerhofer gets a fresh stall count as his defender left to cover other troops. Holzer now. Takes the around. Meyerhofer. Back to Holzer. Those two doing a lot of work for MUC throughout the game, and particularly on this point, did he drag the toes? All teams say yes. Touchdown for MUC.
Nice work, just towing in that shot for goal there. A couple of times Holzer with those big shots down the line, finding the targets, the big man Meyerhofer able to box out, read it well, and snag it in, and then display a little bit of fancy footwork and some toe drag swag on the end of that one. But the initial deep put that went down towards that far corner, after he caught it, his brother was streaking from a handler position all the way across deep on this near side of the field, and I was begging him, imploring him in my head to just sit a little thumber over the top of everyone and drop lovingly into the lap. But evidently most people do not see the game the same way I do, which is probably for the best. There's Meyerhofer bringing down, or Tobias Meyerhofer at least, bringing down that initial deep shot, and then Holzer just utilizing the edge here to take it round the defender, keep it in a position where Tobias Meyerhofer is able to tap-toe the line, and it's 4 apiece.
Ooh, and that pole gets legs and gives a chance on the chase. Sheck in a deep starting position with the wind at their back, but they do get moving. Rinka puts it, but a change in direction is going to make this very improbable. I mean, slight miscommunication there.
Yeah, Richter, for full credit, he certainly gave chase to it, even though if he just said, actually, you know what, I think I know that I'm probably not getting this. I don't think anyone would have blamed him necessarily, but gave it a good go regardless.
Yeah. You never know, especially with gusty winds, what that wind is going to do. Maybe push it down quick, maybe keep it up for a second life. But if any of those are going to happen and you get caught not chasing, you could be made to look foolish.
Oh, 100%. I think going after it is absolutely the right thing, because as you say, you never know.
Stops Wallace with strong hands. Nice leading throw upwind. Roda, and that throw back towards center goes to ground. Frank N. Sheck will pick up again. Almost falls away. I think travel called on it. Villeborg. Back to Sheck on the corner. Sideline, not corner. Gets a nice jab step by Willenborg. Inside throw to Rinka. Rinka gains big meters now, 10 meters out. Popped forward, Gauga. Gauga looks back. Tries to reset the pitch. And thrown towards corner, hand blocked with the lefty. That'll be given back to the black-shirted Munich outfit.
Luca Roda, I think, was the player who was able to get the hand in the way and just get the tip, and Maya, I think, is just waiting for a little bit of traffic to clear on that far sideline before he brings back it into play. Again, the Munich D-line generating turns, but they just have not had the offensive consistency that they need, either in this game or in the semi.
Wallace goes to Remy. Meyer gives the fake backhand, then gets the upfield. Swiesniak goes to Stops, and the run through can't get there. Wallace with a bit of space to throw. Roda. Wallace was calling for it in the dump space. Meyer dancing around, and the engagement leaves. Now to Wallace, he slips, stops. Wallace, lefty delivery over floaty, stops somehow, comes down with it, and then floats another, and another gets batted away after going over the whole pack. There is a foul call there. It seems to be accepted the same. Wow, bench.
How many ladders did MUC walk under on their way here, by the way? It feels like just nothing is going their way when their D-line gets close to the end zone.
Yeah, the dump pass to Wallace. He goes the other way. Low throw. Handled. Was it picked up? They're wondering about it. No, they are talking about a pick in the stack. Or are they talking about both? He does seem to be demonstrating how he caught that. Nope. No questions asked. Play on. From just in front of the goal line, they get the charging Meyer. And they are in despite their string of bad luck, Benji. They get one there, an upwinder that counts for plenty. They're up right now, 5-4.
Yeah, finally back on serve after that early break for Frank N. And this must be sweet, blessed relief. Their first break of the day. They couldn't manage to get it done against Catch Up earlier this morning. And I just feel like everything was conspiring against them at times as soon as they got close, but stayed patient. Maybe you could say they got a slice of fortune on the foul call. I didn't get the best angle of it, so I couldn't really tell you. The down call must have been close as well, but in the end, Maya just collects the simplest of dishes, and MUC finally have their break.
Have their break, with it the lead. A tight game, of course, when one break changes the lead. Heck of a game we got here coming at you from Vienna. The spring break. Thanks to all you at home engaged in the chats and otherwise. Make sure you like and subscribe. It is certainly reciprocated, the liking part. We like you right back. You can just show it with a physical click.
I wonder if MUC's D-line, having finally been able to punch it in, and now feeling like they've got the wind at their backs, which they do literally, but also metaphorically as well. Actually, if you walk a little bit taller, you feel a little bit bigger, your chest's puffed out slightly, because all of a sudden that self-belief and that confidence begins to come back through your system.
Disc is in. Fired into the middle of the field. Rinker gets it on the next pass. Zipped up, and there's a turnover, and now a break chance. These tall walkers with the wind at their back, Benji.
And they've brought some offensive firepower over to this line as well to help them. Holzer and Willemek crossing over, as is Tobias Meyerhofer, who'll get the disc now.
Ooh, they're feeling it. This could be their moment to jump ahead in the match. And Willemek lets the moment slip with the disc.
He'll want that one back.
Yes, but he's not going to be able to negotiate that, Benji. Sheck fires far and mishandled. Went with one, could have put two, good corner have. Meyerhofer puts a high arcing backhand. Willemek handles this one. That's a second break. The downwinder and the first 2-point gap we've seen in the game.
What did we say, Steph? Now that you've got that break, all of a sudden the belief is there. You can go on. You're still going to generate the turns that you have been, but now there's just a bit more polish about your offensive performance, and sure, bringing on some of the heavy hitters to help you with that after the turn certainly doesn't hurt. First pass from Holzer to Meyerhofer, and Meyerhofer waits this one perfectly, the edge, just to cut it through and to drop it down towards the back of the end zone. Willemek getting himself space again, and this time he makes the catch stick, and that is 6-4 Munich lead. Something that I think has flown under the radar a little bit under the new EUCS qualification system is, we've talked ad nauseum about the algorithm, the rankings, the wild cards. But one thing that we haven't talked about as much is the fact that the Open Division is shrinking down to 16 teams this year. And for MUC, they're not in the Open Division. They're playing the series as Tiefseetacher in the mixed division, combining with Woodcheek as the Munich women. So nothing in it for this. But for Franken, one of those teams that's kind of been on the fringes of EUCF in those kind of the lower reaches. Some years they'll qualify, and other years they won't. With that field shrinking from 24 to 16, it's so much tougher to earn one of those bids.
Oh, goodness, and it is going to, as anticipatedly, cause for a so much more competitive top 16 and tournament when we get to the end of this season. Low throw picked up this time, and Karna does his job to make up for the last time and bails out on the receiving end this time. Now, Brockmeyer looking back to middle, goes to Kana. Upfield throw, Wolberter. Kana tries to go wide around, but didn't like his option. Wolberter. And we've got a violation, some swinging hands. Gonna go back to Wolberter. And Remy's re-illustrating the steps that he's called. Karna. High, bounced off the hands. MUC could get another chance.
Their ability to generate the turns, MUC, has never been in question. Sometimes it's through really good defensive plays, sometimes it's through their opponent's miscues, but they will keep getting chances for breaks.
Remy to the line. Centered, hard fakes. Swiessenjack. Remy has a strong hand in his own end zone. Goes around, but nobody home. Just defensive hands to help it to the ground. Karna.
Do you think Karna gets credit for a block for that?
He shouldn't, but he could. Depends who's running stats on the day.
I wouldn't mark it.
Yeah, that would go as a turnover, an error to the thrower. So a little bit of discussion here between Willem and Remy. Garnier. Oh, and thrown right back from Willem to Garnier. Willem jerseys going to be sold as replicas online soon. Everybody wants one in the chats, Benji. Or at least Tim Stuhlert does. Rips one. That one came in fast, and it did bounce off the hands. Would have had to been some strong, sticky fingers to handle it. Remy on the pickup. Look to go around, but the defense shut. Then the next throw comes. Frisch, toe down by Roda. Wobbly leg there. Lucky nothing twisted out of place. He goes deep, and that's got two defenders. Ill-advised throw. Garnier chomps away. Big meters there to Schaefer. Then goes back to Garnier again. And there's our other Willem. Leading throw. Some heavy screams from the sideline right now. Back into Willem. Great throw. Garnier pops one over, bobbled, caught, thrown for a score. Hamann is there, and a big goal for Frank N to kind of stop the bleeding, if you would.
Yeah, 3 on the spin it was for MUC, so really important to just establish another foothold in the game and get an opportunity to get your D-line back out there on the field and see if you can generate some pressure yourself. But they're not necessarily getting easy throws out into space. You know, it feels like there are defenders close by for MUC, but they generally did a pretty good job of sticking some tight congested catches. Lovely afternoon here in Vienna.
Yeah, as was the case yesterday, very different to the case last year. Last year's edition of Vienna Spring Break did bring some torrentials. This time, yeah, sure, there is some right to left wind, but very comfortable, very pleasant to be here. A great day out in the Austrian capital.
I don't know, I kind of missed you last year's weather. said no
lie.
one, ever.
O'Brien picks up. He's got Holzer.
What do you think looks better, the yellow or the white cap?
I don't mind either. They both match the uniform color code. I would take the yellow if I were going to outfit the whole team in them.
I think the yellow with the black is good, but the white is better with the white.
Yeah, but they're wearing black, so that's what we're talking about.
Okay, Chief. The foul called on the contact deep at the back of the end zone. Seemed at first glance that it was well defended by Buchner, but maybe there was some contact in there. Felix behind me goes, yeah, there is.
I bet he's going to show us now. There he goes. Oh, yeah. Clacking hooves. So, turned over is the result. Frank N, not from Frankfurt, with the disc. Hamann. Renka. Ooh, no, he didn't want it. Didn't test that wind this time. Instead, re-engages Sheck behind him. Sheck takes meters, and that goes to the offense, but valiant effort defensively.
Yeah, simultaneous possession tie goes to the offense. And often in those situations, one of the sides might have got it a fraction quicker, but it's so tough to tell.
Sheck to Hamann. He travels and then throws the deep one to Gauga. And the misread or defense getting there at the same time, in any sense, goes to ground.
It's tricky because you want to fully commit to a full throttle deep cut, but you also know that it's tough to muscle those throws deep enough as it's sent the other way by MUC.
On the goal line, one throw away with potential, but the throw unavailed, a foul on it and called immediately.
Games struggle to get into a little bit of a rhythm, I think, probably because of the elements, and maybe there's a bit of rivalry at play. It's got a bit bumpy and jostly at points, and it has, it's not been as fast-paced as some of our other contests this weekend.
So thrown back to the goal line. Dach with the disc. Tapped into play. Dach isolates. And goes to the dump space. Holzer. Lefty over the top into traffic. Foul called, but he did throw into the 2-on-1, but yes, justifiable foul. It's still a foul, even if it's help defense, even if it's an ill-advised throw.
What if it's funny?
I think it's still a foul, bench.
Have a look at it again on the replay, see what you think.
Yeah, tell me if I'm wrong. It's happened. Oh, he had position. He really had position. You could very much argue that that was initiated by the Munich player.
It's tricky
because of the position taken away. He really established a full step in front, I thought.
But so the counter argument to that is that the Franken player there, he's coming in at it from behind, so he's got a chance to adjust, whereas the Munich player, because he's in front at the start, it's tricky for him to pull out because he doesn't necessarily know whether that's coming through. In the end, they're contesting it and sending it back.
I think that's fair enough. Yeah, nothing conclusive. I mean, I'm happy to give my opinion on these, but yeah, certainly a gray area there. Meyerhofer looks to break around, then looks back to center. Dumps Holzer straight back to Meyerhofer. Gone back about 15 meters now from the doorstep where they once were. Holzer. Lefty into Meyerhofer. Meyerhofer looks back to the younger Meyerhofer. And now Holzer again. Holzer and Meyerhofer continue to dance around between the two. And once again, now back to that doorstep. Corner. And squeezes through a backhand. Good vision, good execution. MUC put another score on the board.
Some classic German discipline outside that end zone, wasn't it? We are not going to force this in. We've maybe got a second life that we might not have expected to have here, but we are going to make the most of it. We are going to keep resetting it. We are going to keep our key handlers, Meyerhofer and Holzer, let them pound the rock, get as many touches as possible as they conduct their way over the goal line eventually. And timeout called.
Good time for it. Timeout called. We're going to take a short break too. Make sure you stay with us and are back for more of this bronze medal match.
Enjoying the show? Show your support for the live stream and the people making the show. Buy a super chat or super sticker on YouTube directly. Select your donation and type your message to the world. And share. All donations go into directly funding new shows. Buy a super sticker or super chat now. Thank you.
The ultimate things in life are free, and we're keeping it that way. Subscribe to keep up with the latest games, tournaments, and community content. Share it with your team and friends, and drop a like to help spread Ultimate to more people. Spread the word, spread the love. ulti.TV.
Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
And back in action, getting nutrition tips from John Dock on the sideline as he prepares for his final upcoming, playing with 3SB.
When has John Dock ever steered anyone wrong? Chat, please. That was a rhetorical question. You don't need to.
Yeah, I think you're inviting the chat to be onslaught with options right now, but in any sense, we'll let him know, or we'll allow him to let us know his thoughts on cheese puffs and fruit roll cakes for pre-game nutrition.
Maybe he's mellowed out and matured in fatherhood.
Yeah, maybe. He has secured himself a spot in the final with 3SB, so we will see him shortly after this one. For now, more action in the bronze medal match. Kana. Takes the under. Woolabard bangs one. That's going to be out of bounds. And way out of bounds.
Where was the greatest attempt?
Yeah, that is a legitimate Cape necessity greatest.
I mean, if somehow that is the greatest, that's not the greatest. That is the greatest. Like, literally.
It's already a superlative, Benji. Putting the there doesn't make it
The
superlative.
It would have been the best play that's ever happened ever, no question.
I don't know.
I don't know if Superman could have pulled that off.
I bet you somebody on Super Team could pull that off.
Eyes emoji.
He did give me some good eye rolls there, just for all y'all's back home. Meyer. High stall count. Ooh, ugly pop pass. Callahan! Frank in. That's one way to get back in it. Jakob Schaefer steals it away. Not a great throwing option.
I mean, there was nothing doing there, really, was there?
Yeah, options limited for sure.
So, had to try and put something up, and you show the underside of the disc to the wind. Thank you very much. Popped it up, and I'll be honest, I'm not sure that Jakob Schaefer could quite believe his luck.
Here's another look.
I mean, the offhand, just trying something, because it's going to be a stall out on the end zone line anyway. Maybe Remy can bail him out. He could not, and Schaefer will gleefully collect the Callahan.
Yeah, gleefully indeed, from the mark to the scorer's table.
And there is a slightly pointed debrief going on the sideline among the D-line.
It's a tutorial on how not to throw Callahans.
Have you ever thrown a Callahan?
I'm certainly not going to admit to it if I had.
Have you ever caught a Callahan?
I have caught 2 Callahans in my days. So that would lead you to believe that I might remember had I thrown one. Holzer to pick up. Vilmek. Ooh! Ooh! Second effort, the backup plan there. Meyerhofer coming through. I thought there was going to be contact initially when the two went up. There wasn't much, and now bodies are flying. Dak goes down, gets horizontal, and picks up a disc with both hands. Dak now leading throw, outside edge. Picked up with a little bit of contact. Apologies, hands up, but the goal will maybe count. They're now talking about, yes, it will indeed count. Goal for MUC, make it 8-6.
Yeah, the Cats from Schutz will take us into half-time, and you know what they say, every duck has its day, and looks like it's Felix is out there right now, laying out to save it and then putting a bit of air underneath it, and we've seen what path those take. When you get that angle on it, they pop up and then they drop rapidly, and it was a really good adjustment on the catch from Schutz, especially under a bit of body contact.
MUC 8, Frank N 6, that's halftime. We'll be back with second half action.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ulti.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Got him.
And second half action back at you already. Quick half's a good half, as they say. MUC with the lead, up by a deuce. Stefan Rapazzo alongside Benjamin Reese. And that one's going to go for a roll, Benji.
Yeah, he didn't touch it before it rolled out, so we'll get a chance to bring it to the front of the end zone rather than having to take it right from the back. But this is going to be tough because it's pretty much slap bang the same position where MUC just threw a Callahan from.
Yeah.
So not ideal, and their defense will be set up as well. MUC having started from that left-hand end zone, playing offense into the wind at the start of the first half, get the other end of it at the second, so good chance to get another break here, potentially open up a 3-point lead, and that with the elements and given the defensive pressure that MUC have been able to generate, it's a very good position to be in.
Gauguin. Ooh, picked off. Wallace takes that one, thrown over the stack, stops, looks to Holzer.
Is it Halloween, Steph? You sounded like a ghost.
Fair enough, as Meyerhofer gets it back on a leading throw from Holzer. Back to Holzer once again. And leads it over. Meyerhofer and Holzer happy to stay behind the disc for MUC as they exchange possession once again. Meyerhofer. Puts one in the corner, Villemek. Holzer on that goal line now. Pivots high, Scuba, and has his target met. That looks like another Meyerhofer, if my eyes are not failing me.
We've seen MUC do this a few times in the game. They put on a sort of hybrid flex line in crunch points where they feel like they really want to seize the initiative back. They did it when they got broken. Often you'll see them do it in and out of half, as they did there. Have some of their key offensive players come over to play defense so that when they generate a turn, they've just got a bit more sure-handedness in possession. And off the rising throw where they got it, that's a lovely way of taking advantage. Just dropping the Scuba in the bucket for the score, and I know I had a little bit of a fun at your expense there, but in the wind, this is what happens if you lean back a little bit and you tilt the front edge of the disc up a little bit, then the wind does catch it and it pushes up, and you do have those kind of instinctive, oh no, where are we going? It's a little bit like riding the roller coaster.
I'm more than happy for you to have fun at my expense. I think in my head I was already thinking of other things I may have sounded like, and I was, yeah.
But yeah, you ride the roller coaster of
amused
emotion.
of the potential.
Up and down, corkscrew in and out. You much of a coaster head, Steph?
Pardon me?
You much of a coaster head?
I love, you know what? I hadn't been on coasters for years, but when I was in my youth, I was a coaster monkey. I would run from line to line and get as many. I went off with my niece recently last summer, and I still do love it, but it's different now. I will say that much. Rinke throws low, and MUC with a chance to break upwind now. Meyer will walk to the disc.
We should find a theme park at one of these tournaments we can go to, and
you like a good coaster bench?
yeah, we could. At the very least, it'll be great content.
Yes, it will. Wallace bobbles right back to Kerner. Leading throw. That one, Richter, and then moved on to center. Rinke, corner. Looks for the corner, but the defense covers it up. Rinke again moves, thrown, and Rinke rips it out of the sky. That one coming from Kerner and reducing the gap back to 2.79, still in favor to Munich.
It's, I think, important for Franken to not let MUC's defense get a chance to get set and ready and in formation, and a chance to turn the screw of pressure. And a good way of preventing that is, you know, taking advantage of quick pickups, and they did there when Wallace couldn't get that catch to go into hand, and then getting it quickly. So MUC, they're just trailing a little bit, and they're never quite in a position to get comfortable and get their feet set under them. Just confirming the score with the players out there on the field. I think with the, obviously with this style of scoreboard, you turn it over and it's, it instantly disappears.
And O'Brien collects and sends to Holzer. Holzer rips it the lengths of the field. Vilmek underneath. Hamann does enough to body out, and Franken will get the disc back.
Yeah, it looked like Vilmek had a good read on it, but there's just a little bit of edge on that took it away from him at the very end and allowed the defender to get into position.
Walmer throws to the other side of his own end zone, and Walmer. Ooh, that one a bit of a wobbler, but he gets it forward. Completion, some contact on that next ensuing throw to the other Walmer. The two Walmers going back and forth. Low throw, hits the knees.
More wobblers from Wobbler. Easy for me to say.
Over the shoulder, Brockmeyer. Far side. Leading throw, Volmer. Brockmeyer. Right back to the midfield line, and Volmer again. Brockmeyer. So just walking away there for a second, still walking. Travel was called, I think very wisely. He was abusing those steps. And another bounce between the same two players that had some impact earlier. Volmer. Throw is risky and is not rewarded.
With the stall count mounting, thought had to get something off, but defender had that one read the entire way it left the hand.
Wilmek zips one deep, and that's in the soccer netting.
Soccer.
Football. Hey, the word soccer came from the Brits.
Yeah, from association football. I know. Doesn't mean that I can't make fun of you for it.
Okay. Well,
The Brits have done
yes,
many
it
bad
does.
things that I make fun of us from.
You're just making fun of yourself, Benji.
Yeah. Obviously.
Don't make me remind you where the song God Save the Queen came from.
Where did it come from?
The anus of a French king.
Oh, yeah. It's a terrible national anthem. I've maintained this for years. Absolute dirge.
Volmer sends one deep. It hangs and it gets knocked away. Wilmek puts it down, doesn't pick it up. He'll let Holzer get there.
Yeah, I think there's thinking, actually, we're getting a little bit fractious and we've lost our shape and rhythm. So let's play it slowly and get a chance to get set properly.
Holzer. Meyerhofer. He barks commands.
He's an imposing figure, isn't he?
Yeah, and then gets a wide open O'Brien. Holzer. Leading throw. Doc thought he might need to leave his feet, but didn't. Caught up to it. O'Brien now. Throws to Holzer. Good throw to stretch the field's width.
Love that look.
Tight contest again there. Shoots, gets, and then in for goal. Looks like Wilmek, the recipient.
That's much more like it from MUC. That demonstrated the value there of actually just taking their time and going for the slower pickup. There was a poach on Conor O'Brien at one point, and they used that to be able to move the disc. Sorry, I'm just going to...
Picked off there. You recognize our audio was out for a second. It is back. Roda. To Remy. To Meyer. Far sideline. Wind picking up. A cause of our audio drop there. The conditions very gusty, moving would-be solid parts. Wallace dumps back, stops to Wallace. Meyer. Meyer throws under. Remy. Remy has has his pass to goal smacked down, and Frank N go the other way.
This wind is fierce. If I'm Frank N, I'm not thinking about anything underneath because I do not want to give MUC a short field. I want to make them work it the full way into a wind that is fully not blowing just the tents away, but basically blowing me away as well.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing, Benji. There's no messing around. Get that to the other end, and they didn't quite do it. And now's their chance.
It's not clever and it's not pretty, but it probably should be pretty big.
A free one to the far side. Wind up by Kana. Rinka. Gauga, and they've worked it into the attacking half safely. Now they go for it. Perfect shot. And that lands in the hands. 8-10 make it. Frank N sticking tight, trying to find ways back in, but that was an important one.
Yeah.
Seeing how close MUC were the other way.
Given this wind, that is a really well executed throw because it's so difficult to try and get the weight of pass right without just having it sail beyond the end zone far, far away. And actually, he got it just to sit up there, the wind pushed a little bit, and then it came down right into the bucket. Yeah, 10-8. It's, despite the fact that the sun's shining, it's treacherous, I think, out there, I'd call it.
Yeah, I mean, this wind is heavy. I don't know how we measure it in knots right now, but
Many knots.
many knots. Very knots. Holzer.
I was so sorry. Something very funny about the way you just walked and had the disc just plopped into his hands there. I like that a lot.
Maya Hoffa moves it forward and gets it back. Now Vilimek, Maya Hoffa really working this field. Popped up over in for the goal. Dach gets that one and back up by 3. Make it 11-8, Benji.
MUC looking pretty unfazed by the elements there, in all honesty. Felt like they had that one absolutely nailed. Again, just a calmness and assuredness about their play, about that possession, where they never really looked like surrendering it. That'll please them no end. All they need to do really is just to continue to trade out downwind, and they've got this game in hand because they created that cushion for themselves during the first half and then extended it by getting the break downwind to start the second as well. Every score in this second half has been in that downwind end zone. If I sound a little bit distant, it's because I'm my priorities are split at the moment between commentating on the game and also making sure the tent doesn't blow away.
Benji is the tent anchor.
The world's largest tent peg.
Hamann. Low and made to be difficult for Rinka. And now a huge chance. Meyer goes for it. Wallace collects. Big break available and taken. MUC extends 12-8. This is a very big lead as they'll have the wind at their back next.
Yeah, with these conditions, that feels not necessarily insurmountable, but not far off. The pass there was really zipped because on the turnover, because he felt, I have to cut this through the wind. And it just made it too hot to handle. And then Meyer struck quickly. Wallace got a good read on the disc and then, you know, maybe tried quite an adventurous pass in that he went all the way across towards this near side of the end zone, but was able to cut through the wind effectively, towed in at the front of the end zone, and MUC with a 12-4 lead, 12-8 lead, 4 points in front.
Yeah, looking very strong right now, and the 4-point lead and the wind at their back, Benji. Franken are going to be made to score upwind just to keep it close. Any break opportunities will be very dangerous against right now and could be treacherous.
Yeah, this game doesn't have any longer term machinations because MUC aren't playing in the EUCS. They're Munich's going mixed this year with Tiefset Hauke, but you still always want to finish the tournament on a high, build up good vibes going into the rest of the season, and yes, you want some German bragging rights as well with it to boot.
Absolutely. And hey, why not a medal?
Why not a medal?
Add to the collections. Pole bounces and rolls its way beyond the track. Hamann bringing it back in. First throw taken away nearly. Gauga works hard, not Gauga, but works hard to save that. Back to that far sideline, distributed to Rinke. Scheck finds middle, Rinke. There's Gauga. Hamann, Richter winds up and nearly caught by Gauga, but he was out of bounds already.
Yeah, I think he knew it as well. Trying to get inside out on that one to help keep it in bounds, but it just turns over too soon and never really gave Gauga a shot. Do you bang it here?
Yes. Meyer with the disc. Will he do what I would? No. He's gone central. And all the way to the other side, Wallace, and they have done well executing in their own end. Meyer, now he bangs it in a better position, but certainly puts it where he would prefer to play defense.
It's one of those where if anyone's going to get it, my guy's going to get it, but they're probably not going to get it. The one thing I don't want to do is just have the opposition intercept it in the midfield and start going quickly while we have to make time transitioning. Let's play it long, so maybe we get a shot at it, but if not, they have to pick it up nice and slowly, and we can already have the defense in position.
And there you hear
Minutes.
the 5-minute cap warning. Richter. And Richter tried to fake and keep it in the holster. Meyer tried to float it, and the wind is just playing with everything.
Frustrated because he thinks that normally just putting, I don't hate it, but if I just held it for a second longer, 13-8 is probably GG.
Scheck. Inside throw to Richter. Hamann. Goes around to Gauga. And that one lands and rolls.
Thought he'd see if he could give his receiver a chance. The wind had other ideas.
Wallace backs one up, and Gauga gobbles it up.
Now that's a MAC line.
And a bit of contact on the mark. or away from the disc. Thrown to center, now to Sheck. Sheck to Richter. Bounce to the far sideline, Kerner. Tries to get up line, but the bobble won't allow it. And MUC disc.
Having to work so hard against the wind all day, all the weekend, maybe beginning to have its long-term toll in each player's legs and just stamina.
Wallace gets the inbounding throw, now to Stops. Wallace off to the races, but the throw can't go. Now Meyer. Low throw, Wallace does pick it up off the turf, or just before the turf, that was up. Meyer throws to the back corner and connects. After a few kicks at it, it's Roda in the back of the end zone for the goal.
It felt like it had been coming, didn't it, Steph? That it was such a struggle for Franken against that wind, and MUC were having enough shots at it, and obviously they'd probably rather have had that D-line fighting fully in the semi-final, but to be able to get it going for this bronze medal match and finally take advantage for the copious opportunities that they've generated, that'll please them no end to end the weekend. At 13-8, this feels like, well, the last chance saloon might not just be there, but I think it's already gone last orders.
Remy with the hand up to pull. And just beyond the midway mark of the field. Fakes the scoop, does Kana. And then Wallaber zips one to the corner, Hammond. Goes inside, Kana. The very distinguishable end of game sound goes on as Vilmek comes crashing into Wallaber.
I know we tried to pull out and say, well, I didn't mean it wasn't a heavy contact, but it's a little bit egregious, really.
Wallaber throws the flick, and Wallaber to Wallaber. The knee slide there for the goal. And Franken does their job and scores the downwinder. So that was after the horn, so it is finished that point, which is now finished at 1. It's a game to 14.
It is indeed, so you need 5 on the spin. It's the same situation we had in the last game, each spot versus catch-up. 5 breaks in a row, with 3 of those breaks coming against the wind. You are in a very, very deep hole here. Springfield mystery spot-esque.
So Wallabout set to pull 13-9. MUC can solidify a spot at the medal ceremony with a score here or anywhere from here on out. O'Brien goes to Meyerhofer, and then to the next Meyerhofer, that's Fabian to Tobias. Vilmek on the sideline, and fouls called because of the contact there.
I think that's accepted. Certainly,
Yes, now it is.
Yep.
Upliner goes, and to belly to make it work, Fabian Meyerhofer. Vilmek, Meyerhofer, Tobias. Ooh, straight back, and that had some wobble in it. Inside throw, great hands to stick it by Schutz. Schutz gets it again. Schutz goes wide, Meyerhofer there. Looking to bounce it, and still not in. Schutz, Vilmek. Can they extend the game? Vilmek to Meyerhofer, back to Schutz, middle of the field. He's got options. Open side comes O'Brien. Late cut, there's another. Fabian Meyerhofer leads forward, feet down, shoots for the goal, and the bronze medal going to the Munich Ultimate Club in the open division here at Vienna Spring Break.
Yeah, well deserved. Certainly it's not the colour of medal they would have wanted coming into this weekend, but they bounced back well from the disappointment of this morning, and I think the story of this game is that MUC D-line which generated turns in the semi-final but just could not capitalise. It took them a while, but once they finally got that first one in, they went from strength to strength. The pressure ratcheted up and they were able to do it both directions, going with and against the wind, and they've earned themselves something to show for a long, hard-fought weekend here in Vienna.
Excellent stuff from Munich. Great performance by Frank N over the course of the weekend to be here. A commendable fourth place finish for them. We are getting ready for the finals in both divisions. Up next will be the open division final. Catch up taking on 3SB. Make sure you're tuned in for that. For Felix Shardlow on the ones and twos, alongside Benji Reese, I've been Stefan Rapazzo. Thanks for joining us. We will catch you next time.
All that I crave when you're away, nights are sleepless. Do we need space? Yeah, maybe a break. Boy, you're my weakness. Give and we take, the love that we make, it's my favorite drug. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like, oh yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone. Yeah, you're the reason I'm going out my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you. You got me feeling some type of way. You make me wanna stay in all day. You're the reason I can't get out my head. I just can't stop thinking about you. 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 I just can't stop thinking about
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah.
Ultimate.
ulti.TV.
Deep and under, we're stuck in this pattern, but I need you close. All I ever wanted was for you to prove me wrong. You're changing our colors.